Welcome back to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast, the show where we explore the innovations, strategies, and people shaping the aesthetics industry. Today, I'm joined by Nancy from the Australian Dermal and Laser Institute, or better known as TADLI for short. Nancy and her team have been pioneers in introducing advanced technologies to Australia with a special focus on plasma. We'll be talking about their journey with plasma devices, how the technology has evolved, and what it means for clinics and patients today. We'll also look at how education, reliability, and results are at the core of what they do. This conversation isn't just about devices, it's about how thoughtful adoption of technology can transform both clinic outcomes and clinic success. Nancy is the director of the Australian Dermal and Laser Institute, or better known as TADLI. With years of experience in the aesthetic industry, she's built a reputation for combining clinical expertise with a deep commitment to education. Her passion lies in introducing safe, effective, and evidence-based technologies to clinics across Australia and New Zealand, while also providing the training and mentoring needed to ensure practitioners' success. Under Nancy's leadership, TADLI has become recognised not just as a supplier, but as a trusted partner for clinics, offering devices, business support, and ongoing professional development. She's also been recognised at the ABIA Awards as Educator of the Year, highlighting her contribution to raising industry standards and empowering clinic owners and therapists to deliver outstanding results. Hello, Nancy, and welcome to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast.
Hello, Nicole. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to dive straight into it, Nancy. Can you take us back to when plasma technology first came onto your radar and what excited you or interested you in plasma?
So plasma came onto my radar about 5 years ago. So probably just a little bit before COVID. And so what excited me about it was the fact that it could generate amazing results without having to outlay a massive cost and overheads of, say, a laser or a big device. So I liken it to doing a CO2 treatment because of the way that it can deliver the mini ablations, and we can treat any part of the face and the body. So it can deliver those CO2 results without having to, spend all that money. Plus, if it's done right, the downtime isn't actually all that great. So I think it was just the results that it delivered.
And Nancy, I'm assuming that like everything that excites us, there's always challenges. Were there any challenges, and what were those when plasma first entered the Australian market?
That's a really good question, because there was lots of challenges, and mainly it was the horror stories. I have to be completely transparent. There was a number of incidences and clients where the treatment was performed too aggressively or too harshly, and the repercussions of that was, either hyperpigmentation, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, or pitting and scarring. And so then there was also the addition of having Canada making the treatment. They actually banned the treatment altogether. And so there was a lot of bad, I'm not going to say juju around it. There was a lot of bad, and it was quite controversial. So we had to overcome that, revise the protocols. Luckily, the way we train very conservatively and very methodically, of course. And so we had to re-educate the industry that this procedure or this modality is actually not as scary as what the world had made it out to be. And it was quite safe if it was performed in the right manner.
Absolutely. And how did that experience shape the way TADLI now evaluates new technologies? Because obviously you've brought out tons of different devices since plasma first came on the market.
Yeah, so plasma was our first baby. That was our first dip into aesthetic devices, I guess. And so what we've learned from that is, I think the training is probably the biggest thing, education, and making sure the end user is completely educated, aware, qualified, and has the know-how to if something should go wrong, how to actually then, fix that event. But how's it shaped us in picking our devices? Just making sure that it's right for the market, making sure that there is backing behind it, the support. So we offer the support, looks like clinical support or marketing support, but technical support, but really comes down to that education. So before we then, give that client, it's the other way around, before we give that device then to our clients, we have to test the devices first. So we test them, make sure that they comply with First Australian safety standards. They comply with our standards. So our standards are quite high. And we want to make sure that it delivers the results that, that we're saying that it does deliver.
Nancy, talking about partnerships, at some point you partnered with Louise Walsh International. What did that bring to the table for you and your clinics?
So partnering with Louise Walsh was a bit of a strategic one, although it took about 2 years to do that. So it was a sort of a slow burn. And it was really important because I wanted to find someone and a company that had the reputation, had a really solid device that we weren't going to have, problems with, because plasma, we find our clinics use these on a daily basis. We wanted to make sure that nothing was going to break down. And if it was, then we had the backing. And also TGA is also important. So it already came with a TGA. She had a great reputation. And above everything, it was her online training. Her online learning portal is extensive. There's hundreds of videos on there for anyone who's going to buy a device. There's so much education. So synergistically, it made sense that we're first and foremost an educating, company or body. Her education is quite big with plasma and everything else that she does. She's also got other devices too. I'll talk to you about that in a sec. But I think it was the synergy of our education. So what that means to our clinics is they're going to feel confident in delivering their treatments. They're going to be treating their clients efficaciously and also safely too.
Absolutely. And why is credibility and reliability in devices so important for practitioners?
Well, look, I think credibility builds trust, and you can't dispute that. I think, if you're going to a clinic, you want to make sure that that piece of equipment is, reliable and it's going to do what it's supposed to do. If we're saying that, it delivers XYZ in terms of, results, that we're actually able to achieve that. And in terms of reliability, there's nothing worse than having a full, your full calendar full of your clients or, bookings, and you're having to cancel on them. I mean, as an ex-clinic owner, actually, I'm still a clinic owner now. I reopened another clinic. But even now, like, I know if a device goes down or if it's not working, that's loss of revenue. And how many times can you cancel with clients too before they get annoyed? Yeah. So they all go hand in hand.
So true. And oh my goodness, if you've been looking forward to a treatment and it's cancelled, it's devastating.
I know, especially something like plasma fibroblasting, where you think, okay, there's going to be a little bit of downtime. You've set aside, 4 or 5 days for the downtime. You've psychologically prepared yourself because, it is an uncomfortable treatment. So there's nothing worse than ringing that client saying, hey, sorry, I can't see you, or I've got to cancel your treatment. So we as a distributor, we make sure that if a clinic owner does, or a device goes down, that we're able to send them a new device straight away, because I know the impact, the financial and the emotional impact that it actually has.
That's a huge benefit. And I'm assuming plasma's come a very long way since the early days when it was first introduced to Australia. Can you explain the difference between the traditional fibroblasting and these newer technologies like Fusion 8 and CoolJet?
Yes. Oh my God, it's taking everyone, not just the world. Well, I was going to say the universe, not just Australia, by storm. It's taking, yes, the world by storm. So in terms of evolution, we had your typical plasma fibroblasting, plasma being the fourth state of matter. And that's important because plasma versus RF devices, that was a big leap. RF and plasma devices were inducing a lot of trauma and scarring, whilst plasma fibroblasting, there was less downtime, less trauma. So that was the beginnings of plasma. Then we saw cool jet coming on, so what we call cold plasma, some people call it dotless plasma, where, we're not actually harming or disrupting the epidermis in any way. Then we had our dotless plasma, which I call microablation. So you can't actually see the little ablation points on the skin. You can smell it. You can smell the ablation, but you can't see it. So cold plasma or dotless plasma rather was the next best thing. And then after that, we now have Fusion 8. So it's plasma, but now we're using argon. So argon is an inert gas. It can be used either to heal the skin. And this is one thing you have to get your head around, I guess, because it has so many applications. We can go from treating eczema, dermatitis, rosacea with it, really calming it. It's got this real nice anti-inflammatory impact or effect on the skin, right through to being super, super, I don't want to say aggressive, but it can be quite ablative depending on the mode and how it's used, where you can actually resurface the skin and then everything in between. So it can help with, melasma, with pigmentation. It can help with removing seborrheic keratosis or sebaceous hyperplasias, right through to treating stretch marks, wrinkles, fine lines. And like I said, performing the treatment on the eyelids, so doing a lid lift without needing, any other apparatuses or intraocular eye shields or a laser license, which I think is really important coming to Perth. We'll talk about that in a second, no doubt, but you're not needing those, I suppose, extra licenses. So it has evolved from plasma, like I said, the normal fourth state of the matter, through to going to cold, to now what we call warm plasma or the Fusion 8. And it's got many 8 different applications.
Wow. Is there anything that excites you the most about where plasma is heading in aesthetics and skin health?
I think the combination of modalities always excites me. So I think being able to combine this, whether it's with a peel or whether it's with, HIFU or whether it's with IPL, being able to combine plasma with all these other modalities to enhance the results and the outcomes and just taking that result next level is super exciting. I think people are more and more wanting less surgery, less filler, less injectables and so forth. Obviously, it's becoming a little bit more challenging for nurses to have those procedures done or do those procedures rather. And so this is not a replacement. It's never going to be, but it actually works synergistically with injectables and also with other devices that are out there on the market. The other thing that excites me is that it does permanent makeup removal without the need of a laser and destroying that epidermis. Well, don't always destroy the epidermis with laser, but it's a lot less aggressive, but the results are there too. So like I said, the applications are just phenomenal.
And Nancy, plasma is obviously a very big part of your story and TADLI's story, but TADLI offers a lot more than just plasma. How do you decide which technologies to bring to the Australian market, and what else do TADLI offer outside of plasma?
Oh my gosh, it's so wide and varied. I think the way I see things, I look at a device. So once a year for the last, 3 years, I've been going overseas and seeing what's out there at the different conferences and expos. And I want something that's actually quite new and exciting, but again, results driven and without a lot of the trauma and the downtime, of course. So going there, testing, seeing. And I think the fact that I've been, one, a clinic owner, two, a trainer for so many different companies, and also an educator, allows me to understand the devices and the technology probably more so than can I be arrogant? Also, then really a lot of other people, right, that are selling the devices because I've had the exposure, if that makes sense. And so being able to really pinpoint what I'm trying to achieve and hearing what the clinics are wanting, which they don't want to spend a whole heap of money, but they want something that's going to deliver the results. Yeah. And that's different as well. So there's a lot of things that come at play. And in terms of training, we actually end up rewriting, if not, we completely write all the manuals to suit Australian skin and our sun and our environment. So there's a lot of that as well that goes into the back end. Moving forward, we've got so many new exciting devices. So there's the Apillis. We've just signed an exclusive agreement with Dextro International. So for those of you who don't know, Dextro supply one of the oldest electrolysis devices, which is the Apollos. When I say the oldest, in terms of they've been around for a long time and it's evolved. So it's an evolution, not a revolution. So they've been around for a long time and their technology has just gotten better and better and better. And so with electrolysis, that's seeing a resurgence because we know with laser and IPL, we're left now with, a lot of that vellus hair, or some people are experiencing stimulation of hair on their face, for example. And so electrolysis has come back in fashion, I guess. But the difference with Apollos is instead of being in the hair follicle, say for 2 to 10 seconds or sometimes even 30 seconds. With this delivers 27 megahertz. And what that means is we're in the hair follicle for around 1,000th of a second. So fast, super fast. It also means that your pain receptor doesn't even have the opportunity to realize anything is happening. So it's actually pain-free. Whereas, have you had electrolysis before, Nicole?
Yes, so I actually learned how to do electrolysis when I did my diploma of beauty therapy because that was back in the early 2000s. So I did Elevache Diploma of Beauty Therapy, and there was no such thing as laser then.
Yep.
And we all did electrolysis. And of course, on training days, we all did each other. So you would partner up with someone and you would do them and they would do you and away you'd go. And yes, it was very laborious. It was very, exact. You had to be very precise. And then, of course, depending on the pain threshold, it could be quite painful depending on, the person.
Yeah. So, and this is the thing, I think technology is evolving so much that, even just with electrolysis, for so many years, there was limited number of devices and the technology hadn't advanced. And all of a sudden, this has now come to the forefront and it's like pain-free, it's fast, the comfort's amazing, it's fast. So instead of doing treating or releasing 50 hairs in 15 minutes, actually even less really. If you're really fast, you do 50. But now you can achieve between 100 and 120 hairs in 15 minutes. So it's not as laborious, it's fast. The results are amazing. We can treat all hairs in all different phases, whereas laser and IPL can't. So it's complementary to your laser and IPL, technicians that are out. So that's one amazing thing. As you know, we've got our LED, our love green LED. So great for melasma, rosacea, and also migraines too. What else do we have? We have our HIFU. And of course, we've got radio frequency through Wiro. They've got some great devices with RF and EMS. So there's a few more I'm sure that I've missed, but they're like my favorites.
Well, I feel like we have to do another podcast on electrolysis because this is just so interesting. And all I'm thinking about is when you're in the car and the sun's shining in and you can see all the blonde hairs on the side of your face and your chin, and you having a solution for those hairs is...
It's so good. You know what else? We're hitting 50. I don't know how old you are, but I'm 50 next month. My eyesight is like shot. Yeah. And so forget these, but it's plucking the eyebrows. Mm. So now, look, I haven't been plucking my eyebrows for years because I've been getting electrolysis for so long, but it's that. And also we're getting a lot of people inquiring about transgender hair removal. And so this is another big thing I think we're going to find where we're moving into. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. That is so exciting, Nancy. And can you share an example of a device or a modality that is really making a difference for clinic owners right now from a bottom line, making profit, not taking up too much time?
Oh my gosh. Which one do I choose? Which one do I choose? It's got to be a bit of a challenging one because at Beauty Expo, I think it was hard between Fusion 8, Apolis, and our laser. Like we've got our Min laser, which I didn't mention, by the way. So it mimics a pico laser and it does what I call needle-free needling. Between those three, we did really like. There was quite a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out here.
Excitement.
Interest. That's the word. There's a lot of interest around them, but I think the Fusion 8 is probably one low consumable cost, low upfront cost, and it does a lot. Like I said, from tattoo removal, PMU removal to nail fungus to eczema to dermatitis to resurfacing to non-surgical blepharoplasty. Like it's actually there's a lot. Plus, it infuses, and like I said up front, the cost it's not overly priced. We're going to be bringing that to Perth anyway. So for anyone who's interested, that's the one to definitely see and have a play and feel. We're going to be bringing the argon so everyone can have a play with it. And it's really Instagram worthy, by the way. It looks good.
That is important, especially for nurse injectors who have to be very mindful of what they pop on their Instagram.
Yes, right. Yeah,
absolutely. I also would say your LED because, there's no real consumable.
Agree.
You can pop any client under there after any treatment. It's a great add-on and it's not taking up it's not a laborious treatment.
No, and especially like with our Quadlux, it's a 12-minute treatment time just because of the power output. So instead of having them under there for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, it's 12 minutes. We add on our Cellulux mask. So it's $25 add-on. They put that on there and you can charge a little bit extra. Plus, it feels amazing. Like people love the Cellulux mask is one of our best sellers, by the way, with our LED. So that's a good one. Yes, LED.
Absolutely. And Nancy, you're all about education. Before talking about plasma and devices, I would always, if anyone asked about you, I would say Nancy is an educator. And I've never seen you as a salesperson. And it's something I think that stands out with TADLI is your emphasis on training and mentoring, not just supplying equipment. Why is that so important to you?
Look, it's easy to sell a device, right? Like anyone can sell a device, but I feel like there's a bit of a lack in selling a complete package. So, just the way we want or therapist wants their client to have this, beautiful experience, one to remember, we're the same. We're selling, yes, a modality, but we're also selling the education, the service, the support, the hand holding. It's a complete package. It definitely isn't just here's your black box and just, away with it. And we don't teach them how to press the buttons to make the device work. But what we teach is why are we doing what we're doing and how are we doing it? So you can manipulate settings and so you can address various concerns and treat on-label as well as off-label and maximize the return on investment. So definitely it's not just we're selling a device and that's it. It's a complete package. And I think the support's really important. I think sometimes being a clinic owner it's a lonely road, especially if you don't have a big team or if you've got younger team, you don't have anyone else to bounce ideas off. This is where I feel like we come into play because I really want to support and nurture that client owner and I want to see them succeed. There's nothing better than seeing, a small business operator just succeed and be next level. That's really satisfying for me.
Absolutely. Their success is your success.
Completely. Totally. Yeah, I agree with that.
And I'm sure there's a lot of clinic owners out there that get bombarded with marketing messages. How do you help clinic owners choose the right technology for their business rather than just the latest trend?
I think it's about looking for the gap. So if they've got a gap in their menu and what they're providing, we'll drill down and we'll say, okay, what are you trying to focus on? Is it hair removal, or is it skin, or is it, actual beauty therapy? Is it nails? So I think drilling down and finding what their passion is, because there's nothing worse than not loving what you do anyway. So finding out what their passion is, finding out what their demographic, like, their age group, and what, I suppose, the treatments they're wanting to provide, and what clients are actually asking for. That's really important. And then sort of really drilling down what device can achieve that, one with the least financial negative impact in their bank account, of course, something that's not going to have high consumable cost. And again, that renders that result. So again, look, Beauty Expo, I had someone come up to me saying, look, I want to buy your laser. And I wasn't trying to talk her out of buying the laser, because that's a loss for me, but it just wasn't the right thing for her. And so I think we act with integrity and honesty. And if it's not right, it's not right. Like, I won't feel good at selling a particular device or providing a device if it's not the right thing. It has to be the right fit. So we do have a bit of a discovery call. It could go anywhere from half an hour to an hour to really find out their needs, their budget, and their also their skill set. That's really important. Can they operate that device too?
Well, if they can't, you can certainly train them.
You know what? Sometimes it's just out of their scope. Like, sometimes it's just out of their scope, and that's it. And I think we have to be honest. I got to be careful here, but I have been, working for some other companies where it just wasn't right, and I just think, oh my gosh, this person is not going to know how to operate this device, or they're going to cause a lot of damage, and it just wasn't right. So it needs to be the right marriage, because it is a marriage. It's long term. It's a lot of money and it's a lot of commitment. So it's got to be right. And it's our reputation at the end. I can't afford to damage that reputation that we built on trust.
So true. And Nancy, next year, we're very excited. We have the Aesthetic Business Masters Awards for businesses in the aesthetic industry. What do awards mean to you as a multi-award educator of the year with the ABA Awards, which are the biggest awards in the country, and an absolute spectacular night? I mean, my goodness, you have been up on that stage so many times. What does that mean to you and your team, the recognition and being a part of that?
Oh, I can't even tell you. Like, first of all, it was unexpected, because we were up against the likes of Circadia, Candela, the Global Beauty Group, Demologica. It was just not expected. So I'm still on cloud nine, by the way, just saying. But what it means, I think, it's just that credibility that, we actually deserve to be there, that we're doing something right. It's just reinforcing that definitely we do have that, footprint in the market. We are doing something right. We're leading with passion and trust and all of those things that we spoke about. So I think it just emphasizes that, we're just doing the right thing by the clinics, and clinics really enjoy our training. They get a lot of value out of it, and they can actually use that education and impart it on their clients, and their clients are getting the results, and safely. Very exciting. So,
well, congratulations.
Awards. How do we enter?
Yes. Oh my gosh. We'll talk all about it in Perth. I'm so in awe of you. Congratulations.
No, thank you. This is an amazing opportunity. I can't thank you enough. And I think what you're doing in the industry is just bringing all these brainiacs, so many amazing. I saw your, the list of speakers that are coming along. I think they're amazing. Yeah, I've got so much respect for you and what you both, you and Alfie are doing is just elevating that standard and bringing more information to those who really need it the most, especially Perth. Like, they get left out all the time. So well done and thank you.
Oh, so Nancy, before we get too wrapped up in Perth. I was going to ask you what drives you in the TADLI team, but you've already answered that being a huge amount of passion.
Yeah.
You guys are just constant. You're at every conference, you're at every event, you're in all the clinics all over the place, flying here, there and everywhere. What do you do to maintain such a high energy culture and positive group of individuals that are the TADLI team?
Besides ADHD. Oh my gosh. Look, I think our team, we've come a long way. I call my team the dream team. I love every single one of them. They're so individual. They're all very passionate with, what they do and how they do it. They care. And I think, I hate saying it starts from the top because I feel like I'm really, what do they say? Simon Sinek says the leader eats last, I think it is. And that's how I see it. But hopefully I impart my inspiration and my goals and my vision and my mission on them. And they feel it. They feel that passion and the authenticity, and they lead that well. Well, actually they do. They're leaders too in their own right. So they lead that way too. And it comes from the heart and the soul. So yeah, I think just showing up, and the way I show up is the way they show up. And hopefully I inspire them because they inspire me. Like, my team are my everything. I can't do anything without my team. If one cog falls off, it all just discombobulates. And so definitely it's a team effort. It's not an I effort. It's all of us together. We inspire each other.
Absolutely. That's great advice, Nancy. And now some rapid fire questions, which means first thing that comes to your head. What's your coffee order?
My coffee order, I don't really drink coffee, but it would be a soy latte.
And what's your favourite colour?
That's obvious. Funnily enough, I don't wear red a lot, all right? But I do love red. Red's passion. It's fiery. It's exciting. So let's go the red.
And what's your dream holiday location?
Oh, gosh. Dream holiday location. I love Europe. I went to the Dolomites last year. Have you been?
No.
You need to go. It is extraordinarily beautiful. I used to say Italy, but now I would have to say maybe Austria, Austria. Austria's next.
Oh, that's fantastic, Nancy. And are you a cat or dog person?
Dog. He's here somewhere. I don't know where he is, but he's here somewhere. Dog. Good old Kenzo.
Oh, thank you so much for your time today, Nancy. This has been so much fun, and it's always so great to learn from you and get all that beautiful positive energy you're always radiating everywhere. We can't wait to see you in Perth.
I can't wait to see you.
So we will see you in less than 2 weeks, and have a fantastic couple of weeks until then.
Yes, you too. I can't wait to give you a big hug, a red-headed hug. No, it'll be so much fun. Can't wait to see the speakers. So looking forward, and thank you for putting on such an amazing event at the zoo. Oh my God, I'm so excited. So excited.
Nancy, thank you so much for sharing your insights and passion with us today. It's been fascinating to hear how TADLI has helped shape the industry and the journey of plasma in Australia. TADLI continues to support clinics with education, credibility and innovation, and it's truly inspiring. For our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about TADLI and their work, you can visit their website dermalandlaser.com.au. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for excellence in your clinic.